What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Coach T, and welcome back to my good content. I missed you. I missed you. Right, we're supposed to be social distancing. Air high fives. Come on. Here we go. Boom. All right, cool. Cool. Okay, before we move on, make sure you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at HavenHouseMusic, and wherever you can find me. Make sure on YouTube you ring that bell so you can keep up with this good content. But enough about me. This is about you. Let's go ahead and get down to it. On our last video, we talked about 5 ways of getting back to your creative self when you think you lost it. Today's episode, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to give you 5 more tips on how to get back to your creativity when you think you've lost it. I found that if you've made creativity your full-time scenario that you're putting your all into, or if you're just a hobbyist that's willing to spend your disposable income, these tips will help either way. So the goal here is to find where you are on that spectrum, plug and play. One of these tips will work. All of these tips could work depending on where you are. So use at your discretion. Number 5, build the business. A lot of us creatives sometimes forget that in order for us to be the creatives we envision in our minds, there is a business component that goes with it. We tend to gravitate to the things that make us happy, being creative, making a new song or whatever the case may be, or in my case, that's usually what it is. But what I do know is that if you give yourself the chance to build the business model that helps you live in the way that you want to live creatively, it gives you more of an opportunity to live creatively for longer and in a more safe way. Safe economically speaking, I mean. So building your business is key to being able to unlock the door to making this your full-time job if it's not already. And if it is your full-time job, to become more effective at it. Now, there's a few things that you want to keep in mind when you're trying to build your business, especially when you're not feeling particularly creative. You want to keep in mind what you are like as a creative when you're not able to be creative. We recently had to move into our brand new house, and it's wonderful, and my family is extremely happy and ecstatic. We now have another family home that all of our families can gather in, and it makes me feel wonderful inside that could be our house. However, before moving into this house, I did not have access to my studio, and it really kind of affected me because I wasn't able to be the creative person that I really know that I am. Even my wife was like, "Hey dude, we gotta make sure you get studio back because, yeah." This happens to all of us. But at the end of the day, what I chose to do is focus on the business a little bit. Okay, I don't have my studio. What do I have? I have a paper and a pen. I can put pen to paper and get my ideas out that way. And that allows me to be able to come back to the table when I now do have my full setup again to be effective. Now, when you're building the business side of your creative life, you want to keep in mind this very key point, OPM. No, not other people's money. No, not that. Other people's mistakes. Vastly more important, especially when you're first starting out. The truth of the matter is, because they're so willing to share a lot of them, even the most successful ones, the ones that you really don't have access to, they'll write books about it. They'll do podcasts and blogs about it. They'll tell you everything you want to know. This is the time, though, to pay attention. This is the time to put the paintbrush down or close the studio for a minute and really just focusing on what they're trying to tell you. There was a great interview from Snoop Dogg, and he was talking about how Master P was an influence on his life. And it was funny to me because recently I was in one of these slumps, and I remember seeing this video of Snoop saying, "Yo, I was about to make a huge mistake." And Master P came in and not only told me that there was a better way, but provided the avenue for me to travel down that better way, and it hit me. That's one of the things that I really wanted to do with this good content. Building artists is a thing that excites me. So I want to make sure that I can build better artists, and this is the way I'm going to do it. But that whole thought process was inspired by an interview. He wasn't talking to me, but in his words, he taught me something. It was in one of these creative slumps that I found myself really inspired all of a sudden. So remember, learning from other people's mistakes is not only smart, it's just what you should do as business practice number 1. Focus on not making the same silly mistakes other people have already made and are willing to share with you how not to have to make yourself. Another thing we can do is inspect what we expect. You ever been typing your text message and you're just going, and for some reason, you know how to spell, right? You know how to spell, but this word is just beating you every time. And you know predictive text can tell you what it is, but you just gonna figure it out because you like, I should know what this is. But the truth of the matter is, we have to inspect what we expect. What we want out of that text message is to say this thing, but if we don't inspect what we're writing, we're gonna send out a wrong message. This is the time to focus on making sure you understand what message you're sending, because that's going to be a very strong reflection on what you believe and how what you believe can influence other people through your art. Some other aspects we can also include balance between work and life, building better relationships, not only just at work, but just in general. Like, when's the last time you called your mama? Call your mama. What's wrong with you? The point is, other people's mistakes are there for you to learn from. So go learn from them. Number 4, build a better tribe. Sometimes the people around us have way more influence on us than we even realize ourselves. Do you know you're pretty much an amalgamation of the top 5 people you associate with regularly? I don't know if that's a true thing, but it certainly is true for me. But there are 4 major aspects that allows you to be able to benefit from the tribe that you're associating with. First of all is motivation. Motivation is one of those things that is just, what's the word? Why am I not remembering words right now? It is contagious. Motivation is contagious. It gives you a sense of, oh, I don't want to be left behind, so I'm going to plow forward. With that motivation comes productivity. And as long as you can produce product, you can then turn around and do something with it. Once you have it, you got it. Once you've written your book, it's written. Once you've made your beat, it's made. You can move on from there at any point you want to. Other areas that building a better tribe can help you with is having just direct support at being a better creative. If you surround yourself with other producers if you're a producer, or other songwriters if you're a writer, or other orators if you're a speaker, then you're gonna pick up tips and tricks. You're gonna pick up industry standards or best practices that allows you to be able to move in these spaces with a lot more fluidity and a lot more effectiveness than you ever knew was possible. They can even provide emotional support, technical support. A sense of accountability is another thing that you can benefit from with the proper tribe. Number 3, form new habit loops. Bet you never heard of that one before. A habit loop is a term coined by Charles Dunghill, and what he talked about is understanding how to form better habits around the things you want to get done. Usually starts with some sort of context. I woke up in the morning and ... The context is I'm just now waking up, and the first thing I do naturally would be reach for my phone. Now, what if reaching for my phone is what I want to not do? I want to build a different habit in there. Okay, so I have my context. Then instead of reaching for my phone first, maybe instead I get up out of bed and I do 20 push-ups immediately. I don't want to get up. Oh, waking up in the morning is so hard. Yes, but forming a new habit requires a little work. Now is the time to put in a little work, isn't it? So get out of bed, get your 20 push-ups out the way, then reach for your phone. The phone can be the reward for doing the thing that you needed to do. What's your point, preacher? My point is this. Sometimes as creatives, we build bad habits. As a producer in the studio, it's junk food for me. I had to turn around and change my whole life around because at the end of the day, brother was packing on the pounds. What I had to do is build new habit loops. I had to change my mind about a couple things. I had to put down the pizza and pick up some broccoli, put down the juice and pick up some water, pick up my butt and get some running done. Because at the end of the day, the weight wasn't gonna lose itself. I came down from a healthy 230, 240, and at my lowest, I came down to 175, put a little muscle on and felt good about myself. But that allowed me to build my confidence up. It allowed me to wanna be productive and to be creative and to remember as my body as a witness, you do have the power to change your life. You do have the power to change your situation. But a lot of times, those two are predicated on changing the habits throughout your life. So these are choices that we can make, but these are choices that we can make in a way that allows us to be more effective and more creative. Number 2, knowing whether you're intrinsically or extrinsically motivated. What does that even mean? Why does it even matter? Well, If you're an intrinsically motivated person, what you're saying is, I don't necessarily find value to move forward with things that I want to do on things that are external to me. So for me, money is actually a very poor motivator. Pay is a just reward for the work I've done. That's it. That's all I care about. What motivates me are things that feel good and being able to have fun. So if you put me in a fun environment and say, well, we can only go back to this fun environment until we get our work done. Oh yeah, that work getting done. Because that for me inside makes me happy. I like being around fun people. And I'm a weird guy and I don't mind saying it. Creatives are weird generally speaking, so yeah, that's all good. But if you're a person who's extrinsically motivated, then really the type of person you are might be somebody who's motivated by like, I want to have this mansion or this type of house or this type of car. This is saying that these are different types of motivations. It's more important that you are very aware to what you are actually motivated by. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm not judging one way or the other because I don't want to be judged. But if you can understand how you are motivated, then you can motivate yourself by setting yourself up with some goals. One of the best things you could do either way is a vision board. I know vision boards are old school for some people, but the truth is, it keeps your eye on a prize. It keeps you looking visually at something you said you wanted. Learning how to be motivated is something that is hard to do. It requires practice. But after a while, it's not about it being hard or easy. It's just about, that's the rhythm I'm in. That's the rhythm I'm in. And if you can understand how to make that life rhythm work for your benefit, then you're telling the universe that you're coming for your goal. And if you are serious about it, that's what you'll do. And number 1, being still. This one is a little bit more, esoteric, but at the same time, it does help. And I don't know why exactly it helps. So you're gonna have to kind of just trust me on this one. But sometimes just being still is great for your mental health. It's great for your spiritual health. And a lot of times it's good for your physical health as well, just to rest. Sometimes the block is not stress or work or life or children or anything else. Most of the time we can deal with that. A lot of the time it's just the anxiety of not knowing that becomes all encompassing. It could be anything. It's like going to the doctor and they give you that look, like that moment of, oh boy, is arresting. It can arrest everything. It can shut everything down. That allows you to be creative and moreover allows you to be like normal. You can have whole mental breakdowns if you're not careful, just based on being too engaged in the negativity. And a lot of times we know that we are, but we don't know where to take a pause to say, okay, let's just think about this for a second. That's hard to do when you're in the thick of it. But when you're in the thick of it, sometimes it's exactly what you need to do. You have to be still and just watch this thing work itself out. And at the end of the day, if you can come back to being creative and you can say, let's take this thing that I just experienced and be creative with it. Oh, that's even better. Because then what you've built in that creative moment is something that is truly, truly authentic to you. And whenever you present your authentic self, you present an opportunity to change a life. And as always, make sure you go find us Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at HavenHouseMusic. Make sure you follow, like, and share. Make sure people who are other creators around you get a whiff of some of these videos, get a whiff of some of these contents, and if you like it, leave it in the comments. Go be creative, because I told you to.